Spoilers going forward for Division 8. Clie is a beloved character. She is loved by many, I included. But now that it's been 3 years, I figured out I think I loved Clie more for what she could have been than what she actually was. I am giving no hate to Clie. I am the creator. No hate to Clie, no hate to anyone who loves Clie and loved her story arc. But just reflecting on how it was written, I think I let her down and I think I could have written her better. It probably all started going wrong right at the beginning of the creation of Clie. Clie was not created as a caricature or a character like others are. She was a concept. The first rendition of her was a plotline in which Ethan's love interest betrays him. That was the earliest version of Clie, not who she was, not what she looked like, not how she acted, just what she was going to do. And that is what I built her character off entirely, which is why I think she eventually fell flat. Not because the idea wasn't strong, but because I totally misunderstood how the audience would perceive her versus how I perceived her. I have figured out 2 problems with her writing and ways I could have improved, and ways I did improve. But first, if you don't know who Clie is, you are probably watching the wrong video, and probably should start watching Division 8 first to gain your own opinions. But if you're still here, I'm guessing you want to hear mine. Clie was introduced to the audience at the very beginning. She was there, watching Ethan, and introduced to us with a friendly smile. Ethan loved her, we loved her. Then, for some reason, there was a weird plotline where she dated Lincoln that went nowhere. After they mysteriously broke up, she started dating Ethan. Instantly. From then on, Clie was there as the emotional support, the amazingly good at everything, or the comic relief when her and Kaya get into fights. Here and there, you'd be teased information that there's more to Clie than she lets on. A lot of the audience saw Clie as this cute girl with a dark side. And that's all she was. And then came the last episode. It was revealed that she was the main villain all along. And for a main villain, I didn't spend any time building her up. So her betrayal felt out of nowhere. And then she got killed off as quickly as she was introduced. I remember having a distinct conversation with somebody I know who watches Division 8. They said a hot take about Clie. They said, "Oh, I believe Clie would do this." And then I responded with, "I don't think so, that's not really in her character." And then they responded with, "I don't know, bro. You wrote her like that." These words have stuck with me, especially about Clie. It makes me realize that the version of Clie I saw was totally different to the version of Clie you all saw. So why was that? The first point I've noted down is there was no mystery. The mystery of Clie was so well hidden, the pieces of evidence seemed out of character for her. Eventually, it made the turning point a huge shock for a lot of viewers. Looking back at it, I did not handle Clie's mystery very well. It was often because I had the knowledge that she was evil that I'd write things a certain way, but I did not take viewers' perspective into account. In hindsight, Clie's biggest downfall was how she was perceived in the story. The viewers follow Ethan's perspective, so they see Clie through Ethan's eyes. We had no reason to suspect Clie, because Ethan wasn't suspecting Clie. And even when he did call her out on her fakeness, she lied straight to his face, and because he believed it, we did too. Clie's mask was constructed too well that we couldn't see any holes. And it was because that she was the lovely, doting girlfriend that it was hard for a lot of people to choke that she was an assassin trying to kill him the entire time. On the other hand, Clie's betrayal might have been more believable if we were watching this from Kaya's perspective. We viewed Clie as this suspicious individual who's constantly hiding something. There might have been a mystery for us to unravel. But because we were watching from Ethan's point of view, and Kaya was the comic relief, we took nothing she said seriously.
and all her accusations against Clie were just viewed as jealousy. What buried Clie's mystery even more is that all the evidence presented was purely glossed over. Because no characters were questioning it, neither did the viewer. The mystery around the Crimson Founder is probably the most misled thing ever. Whenever we brought up the Crimson Founder, he was seen as this old man or a bald guy with a hood. And because all the focus was taking down the main threat, there was no mystery of where is the Crimson Founder. There might have been little hints here and there, but it was not really focused on, so the viewers didn't seem like it mattered. The second problem I've identified with Clie's arc was time. Note to self, do not do a whole character betrayal in one episode! We had ended the second last episode off knowing that somebody had come to kill Ethan, and we started the next episode revealing that it was Clie the whole time. And for a lot of people, it was a lot of information to digest. I was with one of my friends when she was reacting, and she was like, "No way!" But what do we do instead of like watching the characters process this? We go straight to a fight scene because this is the most shonen thing I've ever wrote. Yes, the rematch between Clie and Kaya was really cool, especially with Clie at full strength, but we didn't get to see the characters really process her betrayal or the new information. It was a complete missed opportunity to explore what does this mean for the team and finding out her true identity. If I could do it again, I'd probably give it more episodes. Or maybe have her betrayal at the beginning, but even then it would be hard. There's too much going on. A thing that also probably confused her story arc even more was that I had not properly finished writing her. Clie was a concept for the longest time, and this was her like one episode to truly shine. No mask, no hiding. This was her episode to find out who she really was. The big antagonist. But she didn't feel like that, because I had not really decided where I wanted to go with her. It was a lot of conflicting ideals. I wanted to show a character who was possessed by the Crimson Spirit, but also somebody who was lying the whole time, and it's this big betrayal. But I also wanted to show this sadness of how she's been puppeted all her life and used. But because of the time constraints, I don't think that came across. There were a lot of conflicting ideals that were like, what do you mean she truly loved him at the end of it? Wasn't she just this big bad guy? Again, this would have been solved better if there were more episodes dedicated to her. If I wanted to sell the story that she was being controlled by the crystal, I should have given her more episodes to fully flesh out that struggle and that sadness. But if I wanted to go down the pure evil route, I could have just given her one whole episode to that. Either way, I think I massively fumbled this character.
In conclusion, because I talk a lot, Clie was a good support, but a bad final villain.
I was too young to know. That's all that really matters. I was a fool.
So, how have I learnt from this experience? A more recent case can be Reze from Colors Season 2. The Green Mask was the mystery of Colors Season 2. Everybody asked who's behind the green mask, who had access to the Royal Vault and could steal from it, and why is Reze so avoidant of it? And instead of hiding evidence, I left it straight in the open. You can visually see that Reze and Shiv switch places at several occasions, and you can visually see that there was one green mask that couldn't use its power, and one green mask that could. Obviously, it's not too obvious, but at least the characters are questioning. Andy questions Reze like all the time, but we are told to question Andy as well, so it gets to the point where one of our protagonists, Kyra, is questioning Reze. And then it sets up for this awesome reveal, which a few people have told me they knew it! A more similar example to Clie would actually be the witch. We set her up as this great empress who saves everyone, but her character is so obviously corrupt. She's a narcissist, she overlooks so many details, she's somewhat imprisoning our main cast, and it's set up for eventually we find out, and this is where I did the 1 episode reveal pretty well, we just find out she was evil the whole time. It's because the whole season built up to that, which is something I did not do in Division 8. Division 8 had many plot lines and many stories that did go well, but Clie's was kind of an afterthought. For being one of the main antagonists, she did not deliver. No hate to Clie. If you enjoyed Clie, that's great, that's great. I'm glad my mistakes did not ruin your experience of Division 8.
But as a writer, this is my analysis and reflection on how I wrote Clie's character arc.
Let me know if you want me to talk about any other characters from any other shows that are written, not currently writing. And I'm happy to look into it, talk about their character arc, what I was going for, what actually happened, and how it affected the whole show. I'm hoping to do more character analysis and show analysis, so if there's anything you guys want me to cover, I'd be happy to. Thank you all for watching. I hope you are having a beautiful day. Drink water, be creative. Bye!